What's your favorite scary movie?
Do you ever fantasize about
damn enchiladas?
That's much too vulgar display of power, Karen.
Let me ask you one question. Are you having fun?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Because I promise you, you and I are going to have some fun.
Oh, no.
It is time to keep your appointment with the Wicker Man.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Shut up, you bitch hog.
Game over.
We plan to start recording this 49. Look at the clock. 49 minutes ago, and as usual, we digress and just talk about absolute bollocks. It's time to do a podcast that we are banking our lives and career on. So gotta put the work in. Gotta put the work in. Gotta act professional now. Gotta act professional now. Seeing as and the fact that your internet is now working, so that's good.
It's everything.
That's
yes,
good.
everything is working.
And as far as banking our career on livelihood on, let's get a bit of important business out the way first. But before we do that, welcome back to the Dreadcast, folks. I'm Tom. It's lovely, Aidan. You should all know that by now. You've been listening to us for
how many?
84. This is the 85th episode.
85th episode.
85th. 15
Beautiful.
more until the big one hundo.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one. 100 episodes. I didn't think it would go this long, honestly.
No. Well,
there's reasons for that, but I didn't think it would go this long. But we have some important business to take care of before we get into today's film, Drag Me to Hell, which I'm really looking forward to because, spoiler, fucking loved it. So, the business to get into.
yes. It's that time again.
It's that time again, folks, where we shit the bed with our new idea. No, this is going to be a success. This is going to be a triumph today.
It's gonna be fine. It's all fine.
It is time for our Two Films Under pick. If you're not aware what Two Films Under, it's our brand new series where we have here, for the audio listeners, a model coffin, as we like to call the Raven-sized coffin / horror tombola. And inside are many pieces of little crumpled up pieces of paper with different topics and criteria on. We pick two of at random and then venture out into the horror movie world, the bargain barrel bottom of the bin horror movie world.
And there's going to be no big titles here.
No. And we try to find two films that relate to the picks from the Raven-sized coffin. It went well for the first episode.
Yeah.
It didn't go very well for the second episode.
Nope.
But
we've had a slight revamp, haven't we? We've had
come
a slight
back stronger than ever.
And how are we going to do this? So the plan is.
What's the plan?
The plan is, as we decided, that our main topic will be drawn from the coffin, and then we've basically got 6 options for time periods. So that's right, 70s, and then a free for all.
Oh yes, you're right. Sorry, 70s, yes, that's
80s, 90s, 2000s, and then the 6th category is basically any decade that we want.
I put them in here, the actual criteria on my desk, so that the years are filling up about this much of this massive model. Completely pointless.
Yeah. So we will draw a topic from the coffin, and then we will roll a dice for our decade, and then it's Tom and I's job to go and find a film each that fits that criteria. So, for example, we might get haunted house out of the coffin, and we roll 80s for the decade. So we both have to go and find a haunted house movie from the 80s. But as we said, we're not looking for the top tier, the big releases. We're looking,
God, no.
You know, we're aiming our sights low. We're looking for the rubbish, the films that those that you may have seen in when you're scrolling through your Amazons and your Netflix, or maybe but even if you're closer to our age, you remember seeing on the video shop wall and thinking, that looks weird. I've never heard of that. So yeah, we're looking for those lesser known and probably less quality movies.
And if you have Tubi, it's probably on there.
Yes,
because apparently that is the king for horror films that you've never heard of and will probably never watch.
Yeah, definitely. So if you draw, I should have a dice somewhere nearby.
Oh, because it's 6.
Yeah, that's why. Do you not remember the conversation we had?
No, but I haven't necessarily gone too far out of the box. All I did was just I wrote 70s, 80s, 90s and put them in here.
Yeah, but you can't guarantee that you're going to draw it out.
But no, but the topics are ready to go back in. All that is in here are the dates.
I'm
so
with
we do
you.
the dates first, and then we'll swap them. But
okay, we can do it that way. Let's do it that way,
but a spooky dice is quite a. Well, if we put the dice in, it's a very spooky dice. But no, you don't get to pick because you're not here. So if you've got a die handy, do it.
I have. I mean, I say it just.
Oh, he's not even got his props ready. There we go.
Look.
What am I looking at?
I have got many dice.
Oh, that's true. You do actually. Yeah. Do you have one of those rare, elusive 6-sided die though?
I have got many. Yeah, I mean that might be the difficulty is finding one with six sides.
So okay, what are the numbers going to correlate to though?
So we'll just do it in order. So 1 is 70s, 2 80s, 3 90s, 6 is the wild card. So
6 is the wild card. We can pick any, right?
Where we can pick any.
All right,
yeah,
fine.
because that gives us scope to add like very recent releases. Because obviously we're stopping at the 2000s.
Okay, I'll put the topics back in. I have taken out clowns, and I have taken out Nightmare in the title because we just had them.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
Let's not go back to that cul-de-sac of pain for a while, shall we? So yeah, all right, that works out, and then you get to be part of it as well. You get to
that's what I'm doing, making my own job, making my own work here.
I completely forgot. I just wasn't thinking about you really, or getting you involved at all. Really,
that's fine.
I like to just make it all about me. Me.
I'll start my own podcast with Blackjack.
With Blackjack. Damn it, that'll actually go really well, I think. Anyway, it's time for 2 films under episode 3 pick. Let's see what we get.
Am I doing the year first?
You just get the year out of the way first.
I'll do the year first.
Can you? Okay. Can I just say one thing? Can you not shake it underneath? Like that? 'Cause it looked a bit. Yeah, thank you, Aidan.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, we'll do that again. So shaking, that's the dice in my hand. I mean, there's no dice.
Good wrist action there, right?
Somebody's going to flip that, aren't they? Oh. It's a 5. It's 5, which means from the 2010s.
Oh, this should be good then.
This should be 2010s.
2010s. Okay, 2010s. We also have some new criteria and topics that you sent over to me to put in here to again make the picks a lot broader. It means that we can venture out and really find something individually completely different from each other, but still focusing on the same piece of criteria.
Yeah, the other thing that we did talk about is that we to sort of limit the amount of re-rolls and stuff that we do, we're going to try and think outside the box a little bit. So if we can sort of argue a case as to why something fits the criteria, then we're gonna roll with it, because that might spark a little more debate and be a little bit more fun. If you're coming at me with Jaws and trying to tell me how that's a vampire film or something,
it's got sharp canines, sharp teeth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The coffin is open.
The coffin is open.
You can see no, that's really hard to do actually. I'm just gonna put that down. I'm gonna random looking away. You can see.
Can see you rustling in your box.
He's got one. I have one.
He's got one.
It's a new one.
Oh. I'm on tenterhooks.
Haunted
or cursed object. Ooh.
From the 2010s.
From the 2010s.
All right. Haunted / cursed object. So I guess if it was a bad film, The Ring, cursed tape, something like that, maybe.
Yeah. That's
Right.
that's what we're looking at. And yeah, I think you can incorporate a cursed object. So there's a lot of wiggle room on what object is there. It could be big, it could be small, it could be, you know what I mean.
Today's film.
Yes, very much so.
Is 1 year off, but today's film. Wow, what a coincidence!
What a coincidence! It's almost as if we planned it. I mean, we didn't plan it.
I mean, we
That was
didn't. You
entirely random.
Video proof right
I mean,
there.
you've basically just seen the amount of planning that we have.
I mean, that was a good 20 minutes of Discord chat yesterday. That was of thoroughly going to each other. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, we should do that. Yeah.
Let's do it like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move along. And as you say, today's film is 2009's Drag Me to Hell. Had you seen this before?
Nope. This was one of those films that slipped by, but I'm fully aware of it. I was fully aware. It got really good praise. Mm-hmm. Just never saw it. Never saw it. Not intentionally.
I thought I had seen it. I was fairly convinced that I had. I was like, Drag Me to Hell. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd seen that. I hadn't.
No?
I was watching
you
it,
did
and I was
say
like,
you had. Yeah.
Yeah, I was convinced that I had, but I think I'd probably seen most of the the clips. I think there's a couple of sort of big scenes that just recently been doing the rounds on social media. I've seen quite a bit of chatter about Drag Me to Hell just lately.
I would assume that's down to it being 15 years since it released.
But yeah, it was one that apparently I'd never seen it in full, and it was good. Same reason. I was fully aware of it, and I was like, oh, Sam Raimi's. I think it was his first sort of return to horror after Evil
Spider-Man.
Dead stuff, wasn't it? Really?
Oh, sorry, yeah. Obviously, he didn't. Spider-Man wasn't horror. But yeah.
Well,
back
Spider-Man
to horror
3.
after Spider-Man. There's a lot of people saying it's a not a spiritual successor to the Evil Dead, but it's kind of like it could fit into the Evil Dead universe very
an Evil
well.
Dead. It feels very much. I think I made a lot of notes about how this is Evil Dead, that is Evil Dead. It's and I don't know if that's just Raimi's style, or whether it's deliberate little nods to it. But yeah, a lot of it does feel like an Evil Dead film.
I mean, even the title card. I was trying to think. When I saw the title card come up, I was like, I've seen a film that has a title card like this that is so impactful. It just lashes onto the screen. Yeah. And the logo.
That film is Evil Dead.
And that it was the Evil Dead. It took me a long time to remember that. Well, I couldn't think of it while I was watching the film. It's such an impactful title reveal.
It's the same at the end as well, with the outro, the title card reappearing at the end again. It's I think it's probably fair to say that when it comes to horror, he's got a style and he sticks to it,
and that's great. It's a Sam Raimi film.
It's very recognizable as being a Sam Raimi, and I agree. I think this could, with a couple of little tweaks here and there, this could easily be an Evil Dead sequel.
Easily.
It plays that sort of balance between kind of slapstick comedy.
Yes.
In a lot of it, and the sort of gory, gross out splatter horror sort of stuff.
I would say similar from our comedy and horror and comedy episode, which you can find right here. Go check that out. Must make a note to actually put that card on the edit when I do that.
Set yourself up for more work.
Yeah, that's right. I just need to remember to put the card there when I actually point to it. This would be a horror with comedic elements.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
That's what that side.
Ha 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 sort of comedy. It's more subtle humour. For instance, later on in the film where Christine gets Ganush, are evil, let's say, antagonists in the film. thrusts her fist through our main protagonist Christine's mouth.
Yep.
It's kind of funny. It's gross, but it's a little bit funny.
For me, I think that happened too much. I think if I had what my main criticism to get it sort of out of the way now, I think my main critique of this is that it goes down the slapstick route a little too often. And I think most of those, what would be, the horror, the horrific encounters, sort of tip that balance into slapstick more than not. And there were times when I was like, is this meant to be a joke? Like, it felt like, it definitely feels like one of the sillier Evil Dead sequels. If we call it just a spiritual successor to Evil Dead or whatever, this is certainly more Army of Darkness than the original.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, it could go back to that's his style. He likes to sprinkle in the humor here and there.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, not necessarily a bad thing.
No,
but I think I was expecting more of a straightforward.
I was
horror, and the slapstick kind of came as a bit. Yeah, it came as a bit of a shock, really, because I always had this in my mind as being a little bit more sort of serious and down to earth and what have you.
I mean, the scene I just mentioned. There's a shot just before that where there's an anvil just like hanging up.
I mean, yeah,
and it's very goofy. It's very goofy.
It's shot in, like I say, it's shot in that sort of very Evil Dead style as well, with quick cuts and like. Have you seen the series Ash vs. the Evil Dead?
No, never did. Never did.
I mean, that's worth the watch. That is, again, it very much looks at the funnier side and the more humor side of the Evil Dead franchise. But yeah, there's I mean, it had to be an anvil hanging on a chain. It was it could have been a Tom and Jerry cartoon at that moment in time. It's literally that telegraphed and cartoony,
Yeah, I'd never seen it, and I think I picked this because of the fact, like I said, I was seeing a lot on social media. I don't know why. I can only assume it was because of the anniversary. Super glad we watched it. I had forgotten that Justin Long was in it. Justin Long, just great in everything.
I don't like Justin Long.
Do you not like him?
No, there's something about his face. I'm
right.
I'm sure he's a very nice guy. I've got no it's just, I don't know. And I don't really like his character in this as well, which I don't think helps. And I think it's...
Yeah, okay.
And it's the same in Barbarian.
Barbarian, he's a horrible person.
He's definitely worse in Barbarian.
Yeah, he's way worse.
I think he's got that sort of kind of superior, smarmy sort of attitude in this as well. And I don't know what. It's something about him and playing those kind of characters, and I just it grinds my gears a little bit.
Similar to Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, see, it's such a long time since I've seen Jeepers Creepers. I couldn't tell you. We need to watch that one again soon.
About the other famed horror film that he's in, Die Hard 4.
Oh, God, yeah, he's in that.
Yeah, he is. He's John McClane's little sidekick in that. Yeah. He's a little nerd when they're hacking the IPs. Anyway, that's for our Die Hard podcast. We have so many podcasts going on, by the way, folks. You need to check them out. Don't forget our British soap opera podcast coming soon.
Coronation Street.
So, Drag Me to Hell. It's actually a very straightforward plot, really. Which, for me, the whole film, I was kind of on her side. I don't know if that was just me, but you're unless you really need to it, and I was just not paying attention enough. You're kind of on her side. She is the sympathetic screen queen heroine, being traumatized by this old gypsy woman, Ganush, who has played a curse on her because she didn't get what she wanted. Literally, because she didn't get what she wanted in the bank. Because she didn't get a loan. That's it.
Definitely a victim. She's definitely a victim. Yeah, 100%.
A bitter old woman.
Yeah, I mean, because okay, so just to fast forward a little bit. yeah, Mrs. Ganoush comes into the bank for an extension on her mortgage.
Yes. She's very
Our main character, I know they go to extra lengths to make her look as sort of disgusting as possible, don't they? And she only gets worse.
Yeah, she does.
And our main character, Christine, is very sympathetic, and she tries. She tries. She goes to the manager, and sort of says, she's an old lady. She's had some health problems. Is there anything we can do? The issue is that she's angling for a promotion, and yeah, she's sort of trying to curry favor with her boss to get this promotion. She's got a little bit of competition from a sort of rival loan manager or whatever her position is, but she still tries. The manager basically says, like, look, it's up to you, and he kind of hints that you've got to make he'd said to her, you've got to make the tough decisions. So she goes back to Mrs. Gnosh and says, I'm really sorry, but we can't do it.
Yeah.
Which isn't strictly true, but she's well within her rights to refuse her based on the situation. At which point, Mrs. Ganoush, goes mental. She's groveling on the floor and causes a huge scene. And then has the audacity to say to Christine, "You shamed me. You've shamed me." And it's like, well, hang on. No, the only person causing a ruckus here is you.
All about shame and pride.
Yeah. She's not it's not like she stood up and went, "Oh, this old lady can't afford to pay her mortgage." That would be shaming her. She's basically just said, "I'm really sorry, but we can't help in this instance." And then, she takes revenge to the nth degree.
The max.
So, basically curses her to be dragged to hell.
As it says in the title of the film.
As it says in the title. So, yeah, I've completely... And that, and what precludes that is, a week's worth of psychological torture.
It's only 3 days.
Well, there you go then. So, yeah, massive sympathy for Christine in this. She did absolutely nothing wrong. And this is...
You say that because, like I said...
Well, I don't believe she did.
You feel for her for all the film until the very end, when her and her boyfriend, Justin Long, have, let's say for now, escaped the trauma of the 3 days of hell that she's been going through because of the curse that Ganoush puts on her. They're looking to get a train. I can't remember where they're going. They're going on a trip somewhere.
Yeah, it's his parents' cabin, I think, isn't it?
But she admits then, I could have helped her, but I didn't. I decided not to.
Yeah.
So she's a good person doing good things, but she makes a bad choice for her own greed, for her own benefit.
Yeah. But
and I quite like that slipped in at the end.
It is. She could have helped her because it was her decision. But I don't know. I don't say not helping her makes her a bad person though. It's not like she's had two. It's revealed that she'd had 2 loan extensions already. It's unfortunate circumstances. It might be a little bit harsh, but it's not. It's not like. It's not unreasonable to be to decline her. I don't think in the circumstances.
I wouldn't have helped. Not when she's coughing up whatever that was.
Coughing up and the sort of the tapping on the table. It's like that's really rude.
You also need to go to an optician's as well. Look at there's something going on there. I like that callback. And we also get the other callback right at the end with the coin.
Yeah.
Which we get at the beginning where Christine meets up with Justin Long, like we said, her boyfriend. Because she works at a bank, she was able to procure a rare, vintage coin from, was it the Lincoln's time or the late 1800s?
I think it's the 1920s.
Okay.
1920s Standing Liberty, something or other, I think he describes it as. I don't know if that's a particularly real rare coin or whatever, but yeah, he's Justin Long, her boyfriend, Clay. Clay is such an American name, isn't it?
Such an American. So American. Clay.
He's it seems like it's a minor plot point, and I suppose it is a minor plot point, that he collects coins, and he says, "Oh, you know, thanks for getting me this coin."
Oh, it means nothing at first. It means nothing till the end.
Until the end. And I must admit, it did a good job of diverting me, because
Completely.
what I expected to happen then didn't play out the way I thought it was going to do.
Okay.
So there's the point where you're reminded of the coin at the point where she. So we're skipping forward massively in the story.
Yeah, that's
just
all right.
a little bit of backstory. Essentially, because she refuses Mrs. Gnoosh the lawn, she then comes back and attacks her that evening in the parking lot.
Yes.
And after a very sort of, that old lady is strong.
And they apparently went at it. Like they really went at it when they were filming that.
Really?
Oh yeah,
I mean, it plays well. It looks well, but yeah, they have a rather extended sort of fight, which culminates in Mrs. Gnoosh tearing a button off Christine's jacket, speaking a few words of the curse, and giving it back to her.
Yeah.
And then sort of fast forwarding towards the end, she finds out that one way to remove the curse is to basically give the button away. It's all about the phrasing of the curse, that the owner of the cursed object is the victim, so she needs to make somebody else the owner. And then there's a little scene in the car where there's like a classic. She drops the envelope among the buttons in amongst a bunch of papers, and at that point I went, I think
there's
I know
the switch.
What's going to happen here. She's going to take the coin, thinking she's going to get rid of that, and I thought Clay was going to
be the one to go.
Yeah.
She'd sacrifice. Then she really would have lost the sympathy. She, again, she's doing something for her own gain.
But I think it was a mistake. It would have been a mistake that she picked up the wrong envelope. I don't think she did it. It was a deliberate switch. But I think that would be the sort. That was going to be. I thought that was going to be the twist. And it was like, she thinks she's got rid of it, but then a plot twist that a boyfriend becomes the victim of the curse, and oh no, it was awful.
Again, it's another nice callback to something you saw at the beginning of the film. They completely gloss over it for most of the film until the end.
It does.
And it's a great reminder.
Yeah, there's one little reference about it when they're having dinner with his parents. I think he mentions that she wrote this coin, but again, it just seems like a little inconsequential piece of dialogue. He
doesn't bring out his coin collection.
No, Christine got me this coin.
Yeah,
as something nice, because there's another plot point that his parents don't think or his mother in particular doesn't think she's good enough for him.
No.
It comes across as just like, she is nice and she is good for me, and this is a nice thing that she did. Yeah, it certainly doesn't become a huge sort of MacGuffin in the plot until towards the end.
We talk about the setup, the whole film, right at the beginning, the 1969 scene where a young Hispanic child, is brought to the. We have a fortune teller in this film, but what would you call the other, the psychic or medium or exorcist?
Are we talking about the Mexican lady?
Yes,
that comes in towards. Yeah, she's a.
Banish the spirits.
I think she is a medium. I think they do specifically say medium.
Yeah. So he's been brought to her by a family because he has been cursed because he stole a necklace, right, of a traveller. Mm-hmm. During this, you notice a fly just flying around. Mm-hmm. Did you notice that throughout the film? Another recurring thing. Yeah, I wrote one note: fly. Fly. And obviously you really notice it later on with Christine's character, where it literally lands on her face while she's sleeping, and that moments like that can be more gross than all out gore, and just creep me out. A fly walking around and then crawling up. It goes in her mouth or her nose?
It goes up her nose.
Because I can feel it.
It goes up one nostril and comes down the other. and then it goes into her mouth.
Feel it. But yeah. So at the beginning with a young boy brought to a medium, she does all she can to help him, but alas, much like the end of the film, doesn't work out, and our young boy is dragged to hell.
I felt it was a little bit unnecessary. That little preamble. I didn't.
You reckon we could have got away with the whole film
I think
without
we could have
it?
got away with, because the other thing that's interesting is the opening credits basically tell us what's happening as well.
Yeah.
So the opening credits has scenes of lots of like woodcuts from books and images from books and depictions of like demonic possession or cursing or what have you, and specifically shows like the 3 stages of, it's the Lohman. The Lohman is the name of the evil entity, and it shows the specific 3 stages of the sort of the escalation of the Lohman curse. So the first image is like leaves. It's like an image in leaves, and we get her seeing wind blowing leaves around and following her and things like that. The second one is sort of a more direct involved, where you see the shadow running around, and then the third is like the full scale. It's coming to get you. So I think those images in the opening credits gave us kind of enough setup of what was going to happen. Yeah, I mean, you know, it doesn't ruin it, but I think they could have got away without it, to be quite honest.
I appreciate it when they do that in opening credits. I was trying to just looking at our list. I think the last film we had that with was My Bloody Valentine, where you got like the newspaper clippings flying around and images. Like I like that. You can get away with the setup. If people pay attention, that's the thing. A lot of people don't really pay attention that much about opening credits or
sometimes it could,
credits in general.
You've got to be looking for it. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not immediately apparent. It could just be taken as, oh, this is all vaguely paranormal stuff to fit in with the film. But yeah, it is actually, if you look and you can notice it is actually relevant depictions. It's similar to, again, going back to the Evil Dead, it's similar to the pages of the Necronomicon that sort of detail the escalation of the possession there. And also, another link to the Evil Dead are flies. The more recent Evil Dead Rise, there's lots of flies and buzzing in that when something
you're right.
spooky is about to happen.
Yeah, you're right. Complete 5-second side note. Christine's boss, his name was Jim Jacks. I just really like that name. That was all. That's all I wanted to bring to the table. Wanted to bring it to the table, folks. It's a great name, Jim Jacks.
JJ.
JJ. No, Jim Jacks. Jim Jacks just sounds better than JJ. That was it.
I like his reaction to when Christine coughs up blood. Well,
oh my god, the blood.
So yeah, as the effects of the curse sort of escalate, she has a moment where she vomit. I guess vomit is probably a more accurate description of it. She vomits blood all over. Oh, it's a nosebleed, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a nosebleed. Her boss notices that she's got a nosebleed, and sort of as the attention is drawn to it, it suddenly starts erupting, fountaining blood all over the place. And his reaction is priceless. It's not, oh my god, this is terrific, are you okay? It's, has it gone in my mouth? Did any of it go in my mouth?
I mean, you would know. It's your mouth.
Well, yeah.
I mean, let's. I've got a lot written down about her, but let's talk about Alison Lohman, who played Christine, because I think she's fantastic.
I really liked her.
I think she's great.
She was really familiar, and I couldn't work out where I'd seen her before.
Big Fish?
No. She's actually in the Beowulf movie, and I didn't realise that. No, I recognised her from something she did in 2000, a TV series that ran on Nickelodeon called Tucker.
I watched Tucker.
Did you? I loved it.
Stifler's younger brother.
Yeah, Stifler's younger brother.
Was she Tucker's the girl he liked.
It's McKenna. It's the girl he has a crush on. Yeah.
Because Katie Siegel was in that film.
Katie Siegel's in it, and also the guy that plays. I think he plays Bernadette's dad in The Big Bang Theory.
Yes, he does. Tucker was great.
Yeah, I loved it. It didn't. Yeah, I think it only ran for 13 episodes. But yeah, Seth Green was also in that series as well.
Yeah, he was the cool kid.
He was. He was McKenna's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And Tucker's love rival. So this is our Tucker podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
How are we going to keep up with all this?
Talking about the short-lived Nickelodeon.
I tell you
skate punk teen comedy.
I could do a whole podcast. I could do a whole year podcast on that era of Nickelodeon.
But I absolutely love Tucker, and you are actually one of only two people that I know that have watched it besides myself.
Yeah,
so
watched all of it.
So yes, Alison Lohman is McKenna Reed in Tucker, and that's where I recognise her from.
Yeah, Screw Drag Me to Hell.
And I don't think I've seen anything else that she's been in. I mean, I have seen Gamer as well with Gerard Butler. But
she seemingly just got in and got out of acting. Like, well, I say got in, but this was her. I would assume her biggest film. I mean, it tripled its budget in the box office, which is awesome.
Possibly,
but
yeah,
she got out after this. Just focused on family and teaching acting.
I mean, she was in a couple of things later on. So her last credited film role, according to IMDb, is 2016. Something called Officer Down. Which is based on a graphic novel.
Okay.
About a police officer who can't be stopped by death returns to the streets time and time again to fight crime. That's kind of ridiculous, but anyway, that was Oh, it's got Kim Coates in it from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh yeah, I know her. Yeah.
Him.
Him?
Yeah, it's the guy that plays. Oh God, what's his?
Oh, how embarrassing to me! I'm thinking of someone completely different.
His Sons of Anarchy, Tig in Sons of Anarchy, the kind of dodgy, perverted one.
Why am I thinking of? Oh, what's her name? The actress who gets her head blown off at the back of a car early on in Sons of Anarchy. She's the wife of one of the main bikers.
Yeah. I can't remember the actress's name.
I know the actress as well because I've seen her in many things. I thought that's who it was. Sorry. How embarrassing.
Anyway,
Alison Lohman. Yeah, so I think she's great. And the fact that even Roger Ebert, who's hit and miss in my opinion with a lot of his reviews, gave her the moniker of she is a scream queen for the fact of even one horror film. And I think that's way deserved for everything she went through in this film. Like, all the stunts that she did, or everything she went through with the effects, the maggots but not maggots being dropped onto her face. That was made of pasta. They're not real maggots. But it's still gross. And how many takes I can't imagine how many. I've been trying to find how many takes that took, but I can't find it. I watched the behind the scenes video of Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, yeah.
And they showed a clip where the maggots landed on her chin to her neck. So that shows they did more than one take at least. Uh-huh. And but yeah, she went out of her way to, like I said, the fight with Ganush in the car to begin with. Mm-hmm. Apparently they were told to really go for it, and they were way into it. The old lady that played Ganush, I don't have the actress's name, was at one point not really strangling Alison Lohman, but giving it what for to make it look as real as possible.
Lorna Raver, is the actress.
Later on in the film, we see Christine in a grave, which is a set, which.
Oh yeah.
It's by the by how the hell she dug 6 foot deep in an hour or so. But it doesn't matter.
Massive hole that she single-handedly excavated. I mean, I'd have her on site if she could. Yeah. That's crazy fast.
But yeah, for instance, she's in a grave 6 foot down later on in the film, which we'll get to. And there's a quote I found where she states, "I asked for it because not because I'm a diva, but because I'm allergic to a million things. with such as mud, my skin would break out and go really red. So they used stuff that would make mud packs, like fake mud.
Oh,
But
really?
she was like, "Yeah, just do it. Let's get involved. Let's get dirty. Let's get messy." I appreciate that. Even a scene in her house where she's been flung around. You can see on the behind the scenes she's on wires.
Oh
zip
yeah,
line,
yeah. Because
everything.
there's a crazy scene where she's been sort of hung
Yeah.
upside down and swung around the room and thrown into wardrobes and stuff.
I think it's great. She did a great job. And apparently, Elliot Page, formerly known as Ellen Page, was scheduled to take the role before Alison Lohman, but she had to drop out for conflicting schedule. I think, I'll be honest, I think Page would have done a good job. I don't think would have been an awful performance.
I think.
Do you know?
Yeah. How old would they have been then? I feel like that he'd be too young to be convincing.
37 now, 15 years ago, that's 27, 22. Alison Lohman, I believe, is 44 now, so 15 years ago, 34, 29. I think you're right. Actually.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose you can always make age people up with, makeup and dress in a particular way. I always struggle sort of trying to visualize other people in roles when I hear stuff like that, though. Anyway, because what I saw in the finished product is just what's in my head. So
I agree. I think you mentioned that before, actually, with another film we talked about. I can't remember exactly what, but yeah. I mean, it is a shame. Obviously, she doesn't act anymore. Like a lot of, let's use Jamie Lee Curtis as a prime example. Prime scream queen that went on to do more horror films, more.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes can that sully your role as a scream queen? You know, she got in and out in a great horror film here. She's known for.
She did the Vatican tapes in 2015. But it was only a minor role, I think, she had in that. She's credited as, I think, just psych patient or something like that.
Right.
So I'm guessing it's not a film I've seen, but I'm guessing a fairly minor background character. But yeah, this is her only horror role, sort of front and center.
Yeah, big fan of her. But yeah, I mean, makes a performance more unique. Like I said, the fact she didn't go on and on and on. It would have been nice to have seen her go on and on and on to more horror performances, but more memorable because it's the one film. Things don't get lost in translation with different films. Like I remember Alison Lohman as Christine in Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah, I mean the fact that I recognised her from Tucker didn't overshadow the fact that
that's just
she was
made
good
it
in this.
even. That's raised her level even more so for me.
Yeah.
Remembering that now.
So, and in the fight scene, one thing that we haven't mentioned, should get a mention because it's a Sam Raimi film, was the car.
Yes, well done. Yes, well done for bringing that up.
And, well, he made absolutely sure that we see the car.
I mean, the whole camera shot just focused on it.
And back to Alison.
Yeah.
And then back to the car. Yeah, made absolutely sure. So this the car in question is it is Sam Raimi's car, isn't it? It's his car that was used as Ash's car in The Evil Dead. And has had a cameo in every film that he's had something to do with since. I don't know the make and model. I can't remember. But
It is a 74 Oldsmobile.
Oh, it is an Oldsmobile. Well, there you go.
It is an Oldsmobile in name and...
I mean, existence now.
Existence. Yeah.
I mean, it's an icon of cinema.
It It is really.
You know, I think especially genre stuff. I think if you know horror and you know the Evil Dead, then you know about the car. I don't think we're telling anything anybody.
A yellow car. We want to simplify it as much as possible.
I mean, that's it. It comes up in it's in the Spider-Man films. It comes up in every project he's ever done, and it's that little. It's like Stan Lee appearing in a Marvel film. If it's Sam Raimi, if Sam Raimi is involved in the project somewhere there, then you've got to keep your eye out for the car's cameo.
I believe it was even in. I never saw it. One of the Doctor Strange films. The second one, the one he directed. I believe it was in that.
I can't remember specifically where now. I haven't seen it, but I think I've seen the clip of where it is. I can't remember. I vaguely think stuff's flying around cars, including the car. But yeah, I can't remember 100%. But yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah,
it is. It's that Stanley-esque cameo Easter egg. Find the car in the Sam Raimi pick. So yeah, we couldn't just skip past that scene without mentioning.
Oh God, no.
The car. Go for it.
Just one more thing, on Alison Lohman and the stunts. So mentioned the maggots, which come later on, and you briefly mentioned the blood. Mm-hmm. On the behind the scenes, you can see like a little thin nozzle going up to her nose, which then I assume shoots out. But that just goes, and I think that's another aspect of humor, but not humor, because it is so ridiculous. It's very it's a bit Japanese horror, the way they do blood and gore at times, where it just sprays out. It's so over the top and silly. Well,
I think, like I said, that comes in pretty much all the scenes that we get. As soon as like it does a good job of sort of building tension and being creepy and
even the pacing is superb, I think, in this film.
I think a lot of the scares are jump scares. I think that's one thing it maybe overdoes a little bit. The impression I got watching it was like, we get the build up, we get a jump scare, and then we get some ridiculous, gratuitous, over the top, almost comical, like body horror, I guess you'd call it, scene to sort of couple with it, and that seems to be the beat of the film. It's tension and creepiness, jump scare, silly, gory effects, which I guess is it's a path. It's a decent path for the film to take. I guess you get that good juxtaposition.
They're not intense, slow burn scares, are they?
Yeah.
Really?
No. It's it's pretty much everything is a jump scare. I mean, we even get like the sort of, and it's generally Mrs. Ganush's face screaming. Through her phone at one point. There's like a little GIF, a little pixelated text messagey version of Mrs. Ganush screaming. But yeah.
So for most of the film, I would say from the second let's say if we split it into quarters, second quarter to the end of the third quarter is her going through the torment of her being cursed.
So it's lots of hallucinations. She's hearing things that other people can't. Seeing things. The eyeball cake springs to mind. Hearing weird noises, seeing weird shadows, things like that.
She to try and get rid of this curse, she ventures to a fortune teller first. I thought he was probably one of the weakest parts of the film.
Yeah.
I've seen him in a few things. The character's name, I've got it here, is...
The character's name is
Ramjas.
Ramjas.
I don't remember. I watched the film 2 weeks ago. I know I've seen him in a few things before, the actor. You're looking it up, that's good.
Inception and Avatar. Certainly the latest Avatar.
I just felt
robot. nothing I've seen, to be quite honest. So
his character, I felt was the weakest part. I would have been really happy if she just went straight to our
person from the beginning. Yeah,
yes,
he's sort of like a middleman that doesn't really do very much.
You're right. He's a middleman.
And making money basically. Justin Long describes him as being a hustler. She goes to see him for the first time, and he thinks he's basically just a scam artist. But yeah, and again, one of the later plot points is that he asks for 10 grand from her, basically to raise the money to help her, and doesn't. Well, I suppose he facilitates meeting our original medium and setting up this ritual. I don't know how. Maybe it involves a goat. Maybe 10 grand is what a goat went for in 2009. I don't really know where this 10 grand go.
That goat did not want to be on this film. You could tell the way the goat was reacting. That goat did not want to be there. Fortune teller Ramya, played by Dilip Rao. I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher that name. And then our actual big cheese exorcist / medium / whatever you want to describe her as, Sean Sandina, played by Adriana Barraza.
Let's go with medium.
Let's go with medium, yeah. She was much more interesting, her character, compared to him. I mean, out of the two.
I think she
was the weakest part.
I think she did. I mean, maybe we're doing Raz a disservice.
Maybe.
Ram, sorry, a disservice. That he comes across as being this sort of. It's like a high street shop he's got.
Yeah.
And he is like, almost like a tourist trap kind of thing. And it's whereas she's sort of set up as being more the real deal, and she's a little bit more mysterious, and we don't get a lot from her, and that's sort of more intriguing. Whereas he does come across a little bit one-dimensional. He kind of. It's implied that he does have a gift, I guess. He knows what he's doing, but he's also sort of that in it for the money kind of thing rather than trying to help her. He sets up this ritual. Well, he's essentially Christine's point of contact, isn't he? On all things supernatural. So he first offers the advice that she could possibly break this curse by offering a blood sacrifice, and she kills a cat, which was awful.
Yeah, I mean, you get that in horror films where normally if you see an animal or a pet, it's a case of shit.
Something's going to happen to it or with it at some point.
Why are we focusing so much on this animal? A lot of the time, the director maybe... Same with a child. A lot of the time, the director will tease it, but then let them get away scot-free.
Yeah.
And then you get let's say, when evil lurks, and that's not the case whatsoever. And the same with this film, with the cat. No, the cat doesn't get away scot-free.
We don't see it, thankfully, but
even that is kind of... Is it?
It's a little
humorous
kitten as well. It's not like an adult cat, like a grown-up old cat. It's like a very cute, tiny little kitten.
The way it's shot, because you don't see her kill the cat.
No.
It's kind of like a and then we cut to the cat being buried.
But you see,
it's a little bit of humour to it.
You see her draw the knife out of the knife lock and then be like, "Here, kitty, kitty," as she goes off looking for it. Which is the tone of that is a little bit off, because I appreciate that she's at this point probably already a little bit fried from the psychological, sort of attacks that she's experiencing. But she gets told to, maybe a blood sacrifice of a small creature would help, and she immediately. There's like barely any sort of like coming to terms with it. It's just like, right, get a knife, time to kill my kitten. And then she's so blasé about it in the following scene when she meets Justin Long's parents, and she sort of says, "Oh yeah, I had a cat." And he's like, "What do you mean had?" And she's like, "Well, cats, they're just like they're around." And it's like you murdered like your presumably loved kitten like the day before, and are now just fine about it.
And you were told this by a high street fortune teller.
Yeah, and have just gone. I mean, by this point, obviously, she is experiencing what you'd, I guess, call supernatural occurrence.
Yeah, real shit is happening. So you
can believe that, like, all right, maybe. I think you would be in a position to kind of do what you were told or what you were advised to do. You'd accept it. You'd think, right, because that, you know, she'd already sort of had this scene where she's being sort of chased by the shadows around the house and stuff. How many windows are in that house, by the way, and why are they permanently all open?
She's always closing the windows.
Like,
yeah. I don't know. Where is it set?
I couldn't work out exactly where it was set. I assumed LA.
I mean, it says it's set in Pasadena, which I believe is
California.
Near, California.
Yeah.
Here we go. Present day Los Angeles. So yeah, there we go.
I think there was a shot at the beginning of like the one of the freeways, and I just thought, this
Los
is
Angeles,
LA.
yeah.
And then when we were up at a house, it just kind of had that sort of LA suburby look that you'll have seen in many other movies. Just before we skip too far ahead, there is a scene that we've missed when she goes to Mrs. Ganesh's house to beg for forgiveness.
Yes. Completely.
And the whole wake scene, which is packed full of jokes. It's a comedy of errors. There's a lot of kind of farcical stuff going on. But yeah, she knows the address, obviously, because she's got the details from the bank of where this house is mortgaged to. So yeah, she heads around there and knocks on the door, has a little back and forth with a lady. Well, it's not revealed exactly who she is, but she sort of explains, like, I don't know if that character, I don't think that character's named, but let's say it's Mrs. Ganesh's daughter.
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, I know who you are. You're the bank lady that will give up the money. You know, you're like, your name's Mud round here." And Christine pleads the case. "Let me in. I want to make things right and apologise. I'll help out." And we go in. And I think I knew what was coming, really. She goes in to find that there's basically a wake in full effect for Mrs. Ganesh, who's passed away. So the entire family, friends, whatever, around this place is packed. And she manages to knock over the body.
Yeah, I was getting Scary Movie 3 vibes from this.
Yeah, she knocks over, but not only does she knock over the body, which is, I was thinking of Clerks.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's good as well.
Clerks. Yeah, but she knocks over the body, and everybody's kind of all right about it. There's not the ruckus that I sort of expected from that, but yeah, she knocks the body over, collapses like the table that it's on, and all of this sort of stuff. They reset everything up, but then as they reset everything up, the body, the eyes in the body have shifted, and it's kind of giving her this like side eye look. It's all very silly. I couldn't help but laugh.
I've got to be honest, I don't vaguely remember that scene.
I mean,
I remember it, but not as vividly.
Well, it kind of stuck. This is the point, I think, when I started questioning whether this was meant to be a serious horror or whether this was meant to be overtly a comedy horror, because things were very it was silly how it played out, and yeah, I don't know if it's a necessary scene. I suppose it shows that she's trying to make amends.
Yeah.
for what I still firmly believe was a massive overreaction on the part of Mrs. Ganush. It's like, I want to know how many if we're going to get a prequel to horror movies, I want a prequel to this, which is just 90 minutes of Mrs. Ganush, like, just cursing everybody that she comes across. Like, they're out of bread at the baker's. Like, curse on you.
Cursed!
Somebody cuts in line at the supermarket, curse on you. Because it just feels like she has this power that
bitter.
Somebody should take off her because she's far too quick to use it.
She's just so bitter. No questioning or whatever. I mean, I don't know if that comes from her culture, her lifestyle. I mean, you could question, is she... I mean, she's portrayed as a gypsy, right? A gypsy traveller.
Yeah.
But is she... are they classed as witches? Do they have powers? Is she even real? Is she some sort of entity? Like,
I think she's real, and I think it's because our high street fortune teller Ram, he obviously he informs Christine about what the Lamia curse is.
Yeah,
he says that it comes from like I don't know if it's specified, but I want to say Roman Egyptian culture. Mm-hmm. It's also mentioned in that pre-credit scene with the little boy that he stole a silver necklace specifically from a gypsy lady. And I think, and then later on towards the end, when she sort of works out that she can give this curse, give it away, it mentions specifically that giving gifts to the recently deceased is a valid option in the culture because they have this belief that they'll take things into the afterlife with them and stuff. So yeah, I think she's just like, you know, the elder matriarch of the family. And yeah, as such, probably knows. I got the kind of vibe that the daughter that answers the door would also know a few curses and things. And yeah, I think so. I think it'd be sort of a cultural thing that she's learned. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, the stuff about because it's kind of like a folklore-y thing. And
yeah,
I think
completely.
the stuff about like gypsy curses comes up in Peaky Blinders as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's little bits of like rituals and stuff that like the Shelbys do in that because they've got that traveller heritage and stuff, and carving names on bullets and various other bits and pieces. So I think it's very sort of heavily in the culture is a little bit of folklore and witchcraft and that sort of stuff. But yeah, she seems to be like just completely happy about just throwing it out there. And I think Ram does say something about that particular curse being like the ultimate, like the nuclear button for curses.
You got the
she could have just given
curse.
She could have just given us some warts or something, but no, decided to like to go the whole hog straight away and the invoke the drag me to hell curse.
Was there any like stipulations with the curse? So she planted the curse on her by the button, and it was basically in 3 days you will be dragged to hell. Was there anything that the curse sort of brings with it, like you must do this? Not from say Ganush, or the person who is giving the curse. You must do this, or you're going to be dragged to hell.
No,
not so much. This is your way to. You've got to do this to save yourself. Like no, you're cursed. But if you do this, I'll let you go.
No, I don't think
it wasn't.
Well,
was it?
I think Mrs. Ganush does say, you'll be begging me for help soon enough, or something like that. After she's cursed her, she says something along those lines. But then she passes away. I guess you could say if she hadn't have passed away and Christine had gone and begged her and ultimately given her what she wanted, she said that she was going to help her.
Yeah.
Then she probably could have lifted the curse. She'd know a way to lift the curse. Herself. I mean, it may have been exactly the same method of transferring it to somebody else, I mean, I don't think Mrs. Ganush would have had a problem just saying, "Yeah, I'll take it off you. Give me the button." Giving it to somebody else because she's probably got a list of people she wants to curse as long as her arm. She's certainly not, backwards about coming forwards when it comes to cursing people. So it may, like I say, if she hadn't have died, it may have played out that she would have lifted the curse herself after being, shamed to beg. Basically, I think that's what it was. It was the shame that she felt from having to beg. I
said about just briefly with I personally felt Ram's character was probably the weakest part, not in a bad way, just the weakest part, because with the rest of the film I think it's that aspect, that setting, the scene later on where they're at Sean's house, and they're trying to do somewhat like the exorcism, the spiritual seance or whatever. That as well that sort of scenario setting doesn't grasp me as much in a horror film. I love everything else in the horror film. I love her trying, Christine trying to work out what's going on, her lifestyle, Ganush just appearing every now and then, the scares. I'm not a big fan of this sort of seance-y type aspect of the film.
Yeah.
They kind of lost me a bit there. It got a bit wild in that scene.
It did get a bit wild in that scene. They obviously a little bit. I mean, I did want to generally say I think there was a little bit too much CGI in this. I think.
Yeah, it's a mixture of CGI and physical, really. But they nailed it with the physical.
They did, but I think, and again, it's probably just the age of the CGI as well. Probably
dated.
Doesn't help.
Yeah.
It looks pretty poor by today's standards. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of it anyway. But yeah, I know what you mean. That scene in itself felt very much like a Evil Dead scene, or particularly a Ash versus the Evil Dead scene. It was. I think as soon as that goat was wheeled in, I was like, because we get a possessed goat talking.
Yeah.
In that
yeah,
scene.
we do.
And then the second, I didn't catch his name, but we have Ram, we have Sean, we have Christine, and then there's a fourth person there.
Sort of like her assistant.
It's like her assistant, and his only function, his only job was to basically, so the purpose of the ritual was to put the Lamia's spirit into the goat and then kill the goat.
Yeah.
Thereby banishing the Lamia.
His name. Okay, I've got him here. He is Milos.
Yeah.
Played by Kevin Foster. Yeah.
And I think he was kind of very jittery and very nervous, and he felt like a comic effect character. Yeah. And I think as soon as I saw him, I was sort of like, he's definitely gonna die. He's gonna end up probably possessed.
He feels like cannon fodder. He feels like he's just there for like somewhat of a death or...
Yeah. And the other thing as well is the way the whole possession sort of passed around in that scene was very Evil Dead. It was... Oh, yeah, well, yeah. It was very much like taken from that book. Like I would 100% put this as like a unofficial Evil Dead sequel because it works so well. If the curse would have come, if we'd have seen the curse come from the Necronomicon, like
if we'd have seen it in first person going,
I mean, we do get a little bit of that. There is a little bit of that. So yeah, he's opened up his Necronomicon of horror film, Evil Dead filming techniques. Yeah, we get a little bit of POV rushing about. The look of the possession is very Deadeye-esque. People get thrown around a lot into walls and stuff. Anytime anybody was fighting with a possessed person, the way the combat, the way the choreography of the punching, etc., felt very And I think there's even one bit where somebody gets like multiple slaps, and it's very, that whole bit felt very much Evil Dead again.
This the seance scene, is that before or after the graveyard scene? Do you remember?
That is before.
Oh, perfect. So we can move on to the Tim Burton graveyard, I like to call it, because it was a very comical looking graveyard with very over the top, like huge gravestones and crosses and rolling hills. And as we mentioned earlier, God bless Alison Lohman for being able to dig a 6-foot grave in about an hour.
Yeah. Just before we get to this, we're going to talk about how she gets there in terms of why she goes there.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, yes, you're right.
So
yes,
the seance scene, it is this attempt at banishing the Lamia, and it fails.
Yeah.
And Ram then gives us sort of his last idea, which is rather unscrupulous, and it's basically the phrasing of the curse is the Lamia will come and claim whoever owns the button.
Yeah.
It doesn't say button, but whoever owns the cursed object. So reading between the lines there, if I give the button away, somebody else picks up the curse. Which he didn't want to tell her about at the beginning. Oh, she's had to raise $10,000 at this point, so she sells.
Yeah, she sells everything.
Everything. I don't know why she didn't just start a GoFundMe. But was this before then, 2009?
Yeah, probably. I think I don't even think Kickstarter was around at this time.
Probably not.
But there would have been ways to fundraise or whatever. But she takes she just grabs a lockbox and just takes every single one of her possessions.
Ice skates and a drill, and just everything.
And I think the guy offers her $3,000, $3K, or something like that.
She doesn't make the money. Ultimately, Justin Long pays for it. And we have, so Ram says like you can pass this on, and we have a scene where she's sitting in the diner, kind of looking around like who she's going to give this to, and she's just seeing nothing but sort of happy families and couples, and can't bring herself to pass it on. She's going to give it to her work rival.
Yes, who is he's very annoying.
He is very annoying.
They're both going for the assistant manager job. Yeah,
and he's basically screwed her over by stealing in the account and trying to sell it to a rival bank and broker his own deal, which doesn't work out for him. It's all, I don't know why he thought that was going to work, but
no, he fully confesses to her and everything, breaks down, and then she decides again she can't do it.
She can't do it. So
again, she is a good person.
Exactly, because it's totally a moral choice. And she even this guy who was has screwed her over, albeit I don't think it warrants sending somebody to hell.
No.
Because you're not just killing the person; you are sentencing them to eternal damnation and torment. Yeah, it's not just you're gonna die; it's you are in hell for eternity, which is bigger in my opinion. But then she has this sort of brainwave, and it's like, oh, what if she sees Mrs. Ganush's obituary in the paper, doesn't she? And she has this brainwave that like, what if I just give it back to her? So she confirms with Ram that is that possible, and he says, yeah, there is an aspect to, there is a cultural precedent for giving gifts to the recently deceased. Cut to the graveyard, and she's within a huge... It does feel like that scene in Beetlejuice where they go and dig up Beetlejuice in the model in the table. She's digging a huge hole. In a thunderstorm.
It's great visual. It's actually a really well shot visual piece right there. It looks brilliant.
It does look brilliant. It looks horrible and miserable. Kind of like Download at the minute, if you've seen it.
She's not wearing the Lost Profits jumper, thankfully.
Thankfully.
I've seen that picture.
I've seen that picture. Yeah. I was doing right. So, she digs that up, and fights has another sort of fight with the corpse.
Yep.
Which I couldn't work out if there was some like supernatural animation of the corpse going on there, or whether she was just sort of comically getting tangled up in it and sort of like.
Kind of reminded me a bit of in Poltergeist, where
Yeah.
we're in the muddy waters outside and
the pool,
the skeleton, the cadavers, the real life cadavers come up. But this was a bit more goofier than that.
A little bit, well, probably because presumably they weren't using real cadavers.
They weren't using real ones this time. Yeah, yes, probably. Yeah, but yeah, hell of a good show for digging that grave. I couldn't get over. Could not get over that.
It's huge. It's huge.
I mean, it's more than her height. This is more than 6 foot down, I'd say.
I mean, graves usually like 600, 700, so just slightly less than a meter wide and roughly 2 meters long. And she's done like triple that. Like she's got space to move around, and it's really square. It's really even.
Oh
yeah,
well.
She squared it all off. Yeah, honestly, she'd make a fantastic archaeologist.
Yeah,
I don't. I wasn't joking when I'd say I'd have her on site in a heartbeat. There's perfectly square cut sections and stuff. Yeah, it's great.
Did you catch how this scene transitions?
No, I don't think so.
It's a beautiful transition of her from the graveyard to her being in the shower back at her house. Really great camera and visual effects work. It's so smooth. I'm going to put a clip right now. I've obviously put some clips already from the film, but this one needed to go in. It's beautiful because obviously it's raining in the graveyard, so easy. That's your link to transition from there to the shower, the rain and the water coming down. It was really nice, really well done.
So the whole point for digging up the body is to give the button in it, which is in an envelope, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the switch.
Switcheroo.
But she's giving the envelope with the button in, or she thinks she's giving the envelope with the button in to back to Mrs. Ganoush, and all is right with the world. She has a lovely shower, and then we cut to the train station. Her and Clay are off on their trip to, I'm pretty sure it's his parents' cabin for the weekend.
Something like that, yeah.
She buys a new coat, and you know it's all nice. She's happy. She gets a phone call about the promotion. That she's got the promotion at work. So everything
coming up Millhouse.
Everything's coming up Millhouse. Everything's
coming up Millhouse.
And it works. And I was expecting that we would then see the demise of Clay, because I'd pegged that there'd been this switcheroo between the two envelopes, and he would get the comeuppance. But it wasn't as predicted. So I was kind of towards this sort of last back end of the film. I was like, "Oh, but I know what's going to happen. I've seen what's going to happen now. So I'm just kind of waiting for it." Yeah. And fair play, it doesn't do that, because Justin Long Clay pulls out the coin or the envelope and says, "Oh, you must still have my coin. This is your button."
Do you think did he use the words "yours"? Because maybe if he does, maybe that goes along with the curse, like it's yours. It's not mine.
Maybe might have to check
like,
that out.
For instance, say it was the coin that was cursed. She then gave it to him, and he's like, "Oh, this is my coin now." The word "mine."
But yeah, he's to accept, because she does make a big deal about how you need to accept the ownership of it.
Yeah.
He does. He definitely says, "You must have my coin." He definitely says that.
Which is
I'm
his.
not.
Yeah.
Which he says. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure how. I'm just assuming that it's something like, "Oh, this is your button."
I think it would make sense.
Yeah, it would. It would. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. Didn't quite pick up on that. But it's a good point. But I mean, it's enough for the sort of look of horror on her face as she realizes that she hasn't got rid of the button. So even if that distinction isn't there, I think she technically still owns it because she hasn't given it away.
It's a great reveal. It's a great reveal.
And yeah, she, stepping back in sort of horror and revulsion, and falls onto the tracks.
Yeah.
Just as a train is coming, and I thought she was just going to get splattered by the train. To be quite honest,
that would have been awful.
I thought that was going to be like, that'll be the end, and she doesn't. I guess if that happened, she'd probably still end up in hell.
I guess so, yeah, because clearly hell and heaven exist in this world. So yeah,
she's cursed to go there. So she just doesn't. She just makes her own way there instead of accepting their transport options.
Yeah.
And yeah, just as the trains come in, the ground opens up and the hands come out, and she's screaming for help.
Eyes bulging. That's you really know that it's like the skin is being ripped off and the skeleton's starting to appear, but with just the eyes again
starting to burn. And Justin Long, he sees this as well.
He's everything.
He sees this happening as the train, because she's sort of firmly on her way down as the train is going over, and you can see it all sort of occurring under the train track as well. So he's not coming away from this going, she was tragically carried away by a train that hit her.
How do you explain that to the police?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, do you? Because the train doesn't hit her. She's dragged to hell beneath the train. I guess there might be. I mean, well, I don't know, because
there's other people on the platform. They might have seen it. She becomes a missing person incident.
She does become a missing person, but who reports it? Because she doesn't have much family that is spoken about.
Yeah.
He knows what's happened, so wouldn't need to report her. Yeah, it's where I suppose that's the thing. It's whether somebody else on the platform notices that she fell onto the track.
Yeah. I mean, in England, you'd have about 10 cameras that would have seen it.
Yeah. Which would also I mean, he'd obviously respect for potentially pushing her. But yeah, there'd be no body, so how would you prove anything? That's a difficult one to say.
I think the ending's great. I love that that's how they ended it, rather than a safe director, her finding her way out of it. This hell she's been going through, and they live happily ever after. It's like, nope, this is it. She's gone. We're not doing a sequel where he goes to hell to find her. No, we're not building a universe. That's it.
No, and I like that it did that sort of double bluff and had me thinking it was going to go one way, because that would still be a pretty bleak ending. That actually it transpired that.
Big time.
Because what I was expecting is he'd pull out the envelope and say, "Oh, have you seen my coin? Because this is what it is," and then he was going to get grabbed.
As soon as he whips it out, he's like, gone.
Yeah. Which still would have been sort of bleak, because although yes, she's escaped the curse, she's still been heavily, deeply affected by it, because somebody she loves has succumbed to the curse instead. But as I say, I was expecting that, and I guess I'd call it predictable. So the fact that it didn't, and it actually did roll back onto her eventually, in the end anyway, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it. I think my main critique is that it's a little bit too heavy on the slapstick.
It can be.
I would have liked it to have been a little bit more serious in tone. And I don't think it would take drastic changes to do it, like things like the anvil.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the anvil.
Which is so cartoony. And I'm pretty sure there's an eyeball popping out at some point and flying across the room, and the arm sort of full length down her throat, and there's just those sort of bits that I felt just a little bit too far into sort of silly slapsticky stuff. It would have been nicer and with a more serious
tone,
horror tone to it. But can't fault it. It's solid. It's definitely a solid movie.
One last scene I think we just missed was they go to visit Clay's parents, because throughout the film a couple of moments we're showing that Clay's parents are not happy with who he's dating. They're very upper class. They want him to date a
I mean, they're very wealthy.
Very wealthy of that sort of group. And
I guess it's sort of society, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing. His mother, they have a conversation earlier. His mother's talking about, so-and-so's daughter is doing this and that and the other, and she's got a match in mind for him. It's almost like, sort of arranged marriage kind of territory that...
Getting him ready for the shunting.
Should be seeing one of these nice society girls that's going to further your career and standing. I think she deliberately says standing.
Yeah.
And not Pork Queen 94.
There's while they're at the dinner table, she eventually comes around to liking Christine. But in the meantime, during the dinner table, there is a moment where it's not a hallucination, but something related to the curse happens. I can't remember what.
She's hearing things.
Yeah.
She's hearing something like off to the side behind a door, because she throws the glass at the door. She's hearing things. It's like whisperings to her and stuff, and then we get the eyeball in the cake.
When you said eyeball about 5 minutes ago, I think it's this scene actually.
Yeah,
yes,
the eyeball in the cake.
Yeah.
Which was very disgusting. I liked it. I mean, it's a kind of crappy CGI eyeball, but it was good. I thought it was going to be an eruption of maggots and bugs and stuff, because we'd already had maggots and bugs and stuff at that point. But yeah, it's Mrs. Ganush's milky eye, isn't it?
Her milky eye, folks. Her milky eye.
It's back in cake form.
As Alf. Okay, yeah.
Remember Milky Eyes, Bart?
Remember?
They're back.
In bog form. Solid film.
Yeah,
solid.
I liked it.
Real solid.
It's good to watch it, finally. Because, I was convinced I'd seen it. But obviously hadn't. I think I'd just seen a couple of clips of it and assumed that meant I'd seen the whole thing. Who knew?
What's weird, if you look at the poster, without knowing, it's giving away the ending.
I mean, yeah.
It's actually showing what happens to our main character at the end. But obviously you're not to know that. You're not to know that. If say you went to see this at cinema and they've got all the posters lined up and you see that, let's Drag Me to Hell, we're going to see that.
I guess it's a little nod to the original Evil Dead poster as well, which also has
you're right. Yeah,
from the ground.
Yeah, you've inadvertently seen what's going to happen. I really like the poster's great.
Yeah,
I really like the poster. Yeah,
I'm just looking to see if there are any alternate posters or any other little tidbits of that was another thing in the I've just seen a note about the Mrs. Ganush's body vomiting large quantities of embalming fluid onto her face in the funeral scene.
Oh my god, yes, completely forgot about that. Yes, I think God, she went through so much in this film, like with these stunts. She really did. It's superb. All the credit to Alison Lohman for that, for going through all these stunts. There's a lot of like, I mean, I know the blood coming out her nose isn't puking, but it's kind of the same sort of. There's a lot of puking in this.
There is a lot of puking in this. I think
disgusting things coming out of mouths.
According, again, I know we probably shouldn't just read everything we see on the old IMDb, but the unrated director's cut does have some alternate sequences, and that blood scene does involve a shot of lots of blood pouring out of her mouth as well.
Oh, God.
Which is also edited. And I think there was some extra bits with some squirting blood and the killing of the cat. Yeah, just a few little bits. So there's some potential. Yeah, it was just a little bit of extra bits there with a little bit more blood spatter, a little bit more gore with
I'd
those
be
bits.
really intrigued to finally get a physical copy of this. I'm curious to watch with the commentary track. I'd be really intrigued to see their points of view on a lot of the parts of this film. Whoever's part of the commentary track, but yeah.
I mean, I'd be interested too as well. I do have a feeling that there's a lot of deliberate nods to the Evil Dead in this. I feel like it's more that than just being it's Sam Raimi being Sam Raimi. I feel like
it's intentional. You think
it's intentional?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might be wrong, but yeah, I'd be.
It's a good assumption.
I'd be interested to see that. I feel like it's just too on the nose, too close. I
think it's a fair assumption as well.
There's also some tunes on the soundtrack. We've got some Mad Eye and Bride on there, 2000s horror film.
I didn't check out the soundtrack. Hang on. Look at the soundtrack.
I mean, it's got some Beethoven. It's got a rock ballad, unused theme from The Exorcist.
Okay.
which plays over the end credits. And then we've got Mad Eye and Bride on there. Ennio Morricone. I don't remember any Ennio Morricone, but it's in there apparently. And then some Beethoven piano sonata in there as well. But yeah, no, it's a good film.
Very
Liked it a lot.
very good.
Very entertaining.
Very good.
So there we go. That is Drag Me Tell. That was Drag Me Tell.
Yeah, a great
thumbs up.
Not so much a sleeper, but a sleeper hit from my perspective because it was slipped by me, and I guess for you. But
yeah.
Big thumbs up, big recommendation for a 15-year-old film. But
it's good, solid standalone movie.
Hour and 40 minutes.
If you have missed it, it's worth going back and giving it a watch.
I think what we've said before with a lot of films like this, it's great fun.
Yeah,
it's got some jump scares, but it's not overly terrifyingly scary.
This definitely would have been like something like Thanksgiving.
Yes,
this would have been a good fun popcorn movie to go and see at the cinema.
Definitely.
You're not messing your pants. You're not.
You're not. You're not.
You don't have to think about it too much. But you can. It's the kind of movie that you go and watch. Eat some popcorn, go for a beer or two afterwards, and be like, yeah, I had a laugh watching that. That was a good time.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Go watch it. Go give us your thoughts. Don't much else to say about it. So all we can do is now.
Let's plug what's coming next.
What's coming next? Back in the treehouse with our favourite dysfunctional American family. Treehouse of Horror 9 and 10 next week. 10. We're still at the peak, but I think we're slowly starting to start to come down, just very slowly, of Simpsons.
Yeah.
But we hit the peak the last 2 episodes, I believe. But yeah, that'll be next week, 9 and 10, and to cap off the month, as we talked about at the beginning of the episode, June's 2 films under, the picks being released in the 2010s and featuring
haunted or cursed objects.
That's it, yes.
Whatever that might be.
Whatever that might be, and up to our interpretation, but still following the rules. And we will see what we pick, and we'll pit them up against each other in a battle of bottom of the barrel horror films, hopefully. And not much else. Check us out on Spotify, Apple, Google, YouTube, Samsung, Podbean, and Amazon, all by searching the Dreadcast, and on the TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, _Dreadcast.
And a big thank you to everybody that listens, likes it, shares it around. We appreciate your comments, your feedback, and just having your attention. So thanks very much.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Bye.
Oh, God.